Hey there, everybody. Here we are at Take 5 for 5 more minutes of devotion, 5 days a week. We are here to read Matthew 14 and Psalm 31. Today, we're going to pick up our reading together at Psalm 31, verses 16 through 20. And it says in the King James, "Make thy face to shine upon thy servant. Save me for thy mercy's sake. Let me not be ashamed, O Lord, for I have called upon thee. Let the wicked be ashamed, and let them be silent in the grave. Let lying lips be put to silence, which speak grievous things proudly and contemptuously against the righteous. Oh, how great is thy goodness, which thou hast laid up for them that fear thee, which thou hast wrought for them that trust in thee before the sons of men. Thou shalt hide them in the secret of thy presence from the pride of man. Thou shalt keep them secretly in a pavilion from the strife of tongues."
I love that. I love the Psalms, and I have to say, I like to read lots of different translations, but the Psalms are just so special in the King James. And I use some of that language in my prayer. I talk about the pavilion of his presence and his favor shining upon us. And I love how David prayed that God's favor would shine upon him. But he knew that it wasn't because he was worthy. It was because God is full of mercy and loving kindness. God has stored up great goodness and security for those who reverence and trust in him. Isn't that
Yes.
beautiful? I love that. He shelters, he protects, and he provides for those that he loves in the secret pavilion of his presence. And
Hmm.
it's not just it's a secret place that I can go into all by myself and you can go into all by yourself, and we are there together, yet all by ourselves. There is isn't it neat? Do you want to add something to that?
There's so many opportunities to be in the presence of God at church or at home with your family, all those good things. I have found some of the most important prayers I've ever prayed have usually been behind the wheel just before a car crash. Like Jesus. And my daughter once said, "Mom, you really pray with authority right before we go off the road." I mean, there's something to be said about all types of prayer. But
Yeah,
this whole concept of him bringing you to this pavilion and somehow you being safe from everyone else, all the lies and all the deception, all that is put to shame when you're in his presence, locked up in a secret place with him. And
right,
nobody else can even get in there. Even their lies can't get in there.
right,
It's a beautiful idea to think that God would take you somewhere that
right.
enclosed. I'm thinking of like a cocoon, even. What would the word cloister? I'm not sure, but he brings you into that quiet place.
Yes,
But we
yes.
do have a question today. Consider the contrast between public demonstrations of God's goodness and the blessings experienced in private communion.
Oh, well, I think obviously it's all good. I'll take
Yeah.
it all. I want it all. Um, I think, who we are in secret, it sets the stage for who we are in public so many times. And I know that life isn't always fair and bad things happen to good people. But for the most part, who we are in our private world with the Lord, that's going to manifest in our everyday life with other people. And when we have that beautiful, sweet communion with God in our private life, it's going to spill over and people are going to see the favor of God in your life. They're going to see the peace of God in your life. I was involved in a situation where there was a lot of conflict going on around me, and somebody said, Lori, you're just so centered. And I was like, no, I'm not centered. I'm whole. I have the peace of God. And when things are going on around you and there's chaos all around, the peace of God, that is the favor of God. people can see it, even if they're not walking with him. God is into real. And we can be real with him, and he's going to show up in our real world.